All right. Greetings and blessed day to your family. How are you? Brother Thomas here. I just wanted to discuss a few things with you today regarding a very important topic. It's a topic in some houses, in some places, in some parts around the world that appears to be controversial. It's a topic that in some places, in some houses, in some tables appears to be not talked about. So it's very important to know outside of God and outside of your family and outside of breathing, there's something that's up there that's just as good, just as close, just as beneficial, and just as profitable and beneficial to your life as what we call air. Now, that topic today is money. You got it. So you guys know money is not everything, but money is very important. Money is right up there with air. The reason why money is so important is because first and foremost, money allows you to do, if not anything, almost everything. Now, if you're watching this video, if you're watching this footage and you like to disagree, that's on you. But for those who lived on this planet long enough, over 25 years, for those who lived on this planet and actually put in the work to push themselves and obtain some of the great things that God has for us, the word says, seek ye first, and all these good things shall be added unto you. Good things, if I'm not mistaken, cost money. And so if you're driving a Honda, nothing wrong with it. If you're driving a bicycle, if you're driving a scooter, right? If you're walking to the places that you need to go to, or riding a bus, what's going to allow you to get to that next space, that next step, that next position in life that you truly desire, right? God really wants us to have, be, and do what we desire on this planet. And as us being God's children, you must know that God has given you the dominion and the authority to do this. But if you listen to what I said, you must know this. Faith, believing, but knowing. When you know that God has it for you to be an abundant individual, a prosperous individual, to be rich and to operate in this world of overflow as our ancestors, Abraham, then you know that you must be in position to operate and live off that reality. Now, our counterparts on this planet understand the benefits and the value of what we call group economics. Now, what's group economics, you may ask? That is the value of, or the operations of taking money out of our pocket and cycling it within our communities. Now, if we go to the stats say that in the Asian community, it lasts about 2 months. In the Caucasian community, it lasts about 45 days. And in the melanated community, believe it or not, they say it lasts about 6 hours. Now, if we do the math to that, that does not sound appealing. It does not sound beneficial. But today, this video is to shift your mindset for you to understand that we must change the ways of operations so we can live in the prosperous, abundant life that we desire to live in, that God has us to live in. Right? Now, here to bombard you with the scripture, but Deuteronomy 8:18 says, remember this day that God gives us the power to give growth. God gave you, my brother, you, my sister, the power to get wealth. That means you have the skill set, you have the ability, you have the understanding, you have the relationships, you have resources on your phone and your Gmail and your email right now that can elevate your income, elevate your lifestyle, elevate your reality. But a lot of people out here are living because they've heard that that's not the way to live. And so you adopted this mindset to say living beneath your means or living poorly, like that's the way of life. You got frugality mixed up with surviving. You understand? Today, you will shift your mindset. You will shift your mindset. Now, it also says in the word that if you give, ye shall receive, right? And so we're talking about that operation. If we're talking about the simple flow of life, the flow of creation. If I have an apple seed in my hand, I must put it in the ground first before the process of photosynthesis to start for us to reap the benefits and eat and enjoy the fruits of our labor, correct? So let's say you're a part of an organization, you're a part of a church, you're a part of a lodge, you're a part of a committee, whatever the case may be. In it comes that time where they say, give your tithes and offering, pay your dues, make your donations. What type of mindset do you have at that moment? The next time that happens, I want you to check yourself and ask yourself, what mindset do I have before I take this action? Do I have the mindset of abundance to know that as soon as I give with the right spirit and I pray over this capital before I put it out, God already said that He will bless me and put capital back into my hands and back into my circulation 100-fold? Or do you have the other mindset? And you know what mindset that is. I challenge you today that the next time that you're at a meeting and things come up when it comes about money, don't say you can't do it. Take a pause and say, let me figure it out. If you currently don't have the ability to, right? With you having the ability to be prosperous, God said He blessed them, and then He said, be fruitful and multiply. And so, if you are blessed, then you have the ability to think, to come up with ideas, to be creative. We're creative people. You understand? If you're spending expenses on certain things, I can easily show everybody right now on this call how to make $50 like that. I guarantee that everybody watching this video has a Netflix account and or a Hulu account, right? Pays occasionally to watch videos on Prime. If you're not buying the movie, then you're probably renting it, right? Paying over $150 on your cell phone for AT&T or Verizon when you could be using Cricket. You understand? These are small sacrifices to have a big return. You got to shift the mindset for the long game. But if your spirit internally understands that you already have it, then by all means have these things. But when it comes for that overflow, when it comes for that time of giving, when it comes for that time of charity, when it comes for that time of influx, that increase, that stretching yourself, you got to test the faith, right? So let's make it a little more clear for you. I'm going to use church for one side for those who are watching this, and then we'll use a nonprofit. We'll use the lodge for another side, all right? So the pastor comes and he reads the scripture and then he says, time for tithes and offering. It's two types of mentalities, and I want you to know what mentality you currently have, right? Because everybody watching this doesn't mean you have a bad mentality or a low mentality. Some of you watching this will have the proper mentality. But for those who are looking to live that abundant life, to operate in that rich capacity, to have the Rolls Royce, to have the mansion, to have the extra space that you need, to be able to go out and take your family and pay for everybody. And even if your family invites other friends, you have the luxury to, I got it. Don't worry about it. You understand? To shift the mindset of when somebody asks, you're able to give, able to share, able to extend. Because if we rewind before I continue, when somebody asks for something for you, 9 times out of 10, if you got the same complexion I got, you understand that they're asking for two things. One for moral support, and the other one is for that other M, that money, right? And so you want to be the one in position to be able to have it. Man, as the provider, and woman, just like your day-to-day in life. You understand? You don't want to have to call your husband and be like, hey, babe, can you send me this? You should be operating in the capacity of abundance with God to have it already. Have things in position where you gotta, I'm good. And then men, for the providing capacity, we should be in the position to be able to take care of everything we need to take care of. And then if we want to, boom, hit the wife and the kids with some allowance, some extra capital so they can go out and spend and enjoy themselves, right? Now, of course, if you listen to what I'm saying, is keep God in the middle. So therefore, when you're putting this money out, you know it's going to go to good use. That means when I give the extra money to my wife, she's going to go make sure that the kids has nice, clean clothes. Make sure that the hairs and everything is done. Make sure that the diapers and the pull-ups and the shoes and things of that nature is squared away. Make sure that they're eating some good quality meals. You understand? Same thing with school. If I'm giving the school the money, I know that the school is going to do what it does. But first, it all boils down to our mindset. It boils down to our faith. So understand that you have the power to pray over the thing that is in your hand before you open your hand and let it go for it to cycle and come back to you for God to really add that increase. Okay? Now, we talked about the church aspect. Now, when we're talking about the lodge, imagine if you're the grand master or the grand matron, right? Imagine if you're the worshipful master or the assistant matron. And we have things that we have to do. You understand? We have faith, charity, hope. So when we're doing the charity part, that requires what? One of the most important things in the world, money. We can smile all day. We can say bless you all day. We can do all of these things, but at the end of the day, somebody got to pay the tab. You understand? Relationships are very important, but money keeps things going and flowing. You understand? Carbon dioxide is very important because it actually allows the plant to grow, but oxygen is very important. You understand? And so shift the mindset today and stop telling yourself that money is not important. Stop telling yourself that because you want to be rich, because you are rich, because you're walking in that's bad. Stop believing or thinking that you have to stay in a small box and, you know, wear the raggedy daggedy shoes and the raggedy daggedy clothes to stack up your bread. You can do both. You can do both. Abraham had massive and abundance of cattle, right? And silver and gold. And if we are the descendants, and God said that his children shall be rich and abundant, and we fall in that bloodline, we fall in that category. Therefore, that means if you're watching this, you shall be abundant. So today, I challenge you to one, check your mindset and see how you currently think about money, how you currently think about giving, how you currently think about charity, how you currently think about circulation, how you currently be mindful about where your money goes and what it does. And then secondly, check your mindset and see if you're operating from a capacity of abundance or scarcity. Scarcity means I gotta hold on to my last five. I gotta wait for my next check before I pay for this. I know you're hungry, but I can't give it to you. Abundance is, shit, here you go. I'll give it to you. I got another one coming. It's coming back again. I'm gonna get paid tomorrow. And if that's not the case right now in your life, then tell yourself it's the case because your tongue has the power of life and death. So you have the power to speak things into reality. You understand? That's something that's very key about this. You shift your mindset, then you start speaking better, doing better, living better, being better. Does that make sense? So I hope that helped everybody watching this video. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I hope you guys have a peaceful, positive, prosperous day. Stay rich. We'll see you at the top. Bye for now.